What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 16th of August. Yes, the 16th. The 15th just closed right here. 23 hours, 54 minutes left in this day, so we closed about 6 minutes ago there. And we have had progression to the downside. On the bright side, a lot less volume came in, right? We had a very lesser kind of move. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame and see if this is appropriate. Yeah, you can see volume is dying off as we're moving down. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's completely possible, my friends. And I have to admit, I expected more. I really did expect more. We were talking about 116.5 to 114.5 thousand dollars, right? 114, or maybe it's like 114.4 right there to 116.5 right there. We got close. And perhaps we still do go lower. But I'm not going to be upset. You know, I can hang my head in shame if we just pump from here and we don't hit that zone. We got close. You know, who cares? It's not a big deal. And I have to admit that this day here, the 15th, was not as bearish as I expected it to be. We moved down, but we didn't progress. You had the volume come in, but you didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, what? Why the hesitation? You broke out. Why aren't we breaking? You had the bearish hockey stick of death, and it did not continue downward. I don't know. You know, what I'm thinking here is there are probably a lot of people who are being duped, perhaps myself included. You know, I'm not thinking that this bear flag performs the way that it might look like it performs, okay? I'm sure there are a lot of smart people, they're super smart out there, who are thinking that this bear flag, they're drawing the trend line just like this, okay? Let's find it right here. From a high to a low, and then they're coming up with the measure move. I haven't heard anybody say this, so if I have any YouTube friends, I promise you I'm not making fun of you. I haven't actually watched anybody's price predictions today. I promise I have too much stuff going on in my life to be able to be caught up in other people's stuff right now. Literally, we got a newborn. She's like not even a week old, so I'm not. That is not a facade. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are calling for 112.2K right now. Maybe not. Maybe there's nobody calling for it. But to me, that this is a pretty obvious bear flag, and that would be a pretty obvious measure move down. However, taking into account that we're in a bullish trend, bear flags don't perform as well. Even if you break out, you might not hit that measure move, and the odds of hitting that measure move are lessened. Right? We had a bear flag here, and look at how well that did. Right? We actually went upwards instead. You know, it's not that cut and dry, essentially. We even had like a little bear flag here, and we didn't meet that measure move. But all I'm trying to say is this suffices. This definitely suffices. We're at this kind of like double bottom low point. Perhaps what we see is a fake out to the upside. We move up. You get above this, you look like you're forming a W, and then we move lower. I don't know. But let's look at the 1 hour. We're on the 1 hour now. Let's look at these indicators. I really am surprised that we didn't continue lower. We had the momentum going for us. Everything was right, but we just didn't do it. Perhaps it's because there have been a shift in the dynamics here between the longs and the shorts. Shorts have overtaken the weekly. Shorts have overtaken the daily. The 30-day, I think the longs still have it, yes, but there are still a ton of shorts piled on. And the thing is, what I've noticed, there's a lot less leveraged positions now than there have been. Still a lot. About $9 billion in shorts, about $12 billion in longs. You know, it's like $20 billion overall in leverage positions. But whenever we first got up to this range, you guys, it was like $30 billion. It's a third of what it was. And that's good. We want to see these leverage positions, longs and shorts, die off before we really start to move higher. And that's kind of what makes me think we could move lower. You know, if you look at the 30-day period here, the peak of this gets demolished right there at like 115.2K. Why stop there? We could go lower. But again, the 1 day and the weekly time frame, the shorts have piled on, man. In the last 24 hours, we got two. Remember whenever this was like 5 to 6 billion on each side? It was like 5 to 6 billion. 3 billion was the low. Now neither of them have $3 billion, right? Almost $3 billion. But the leverage positions are definitely getting scared, right? There's a lot of volatility here, and they have the right to be scared. Looking at this here, even on the 1 day, coming down, clearing out this like peak in liquidations, that'd be at 115.7K. So again, going a little bit lower wouldn't be too crazy. I, for one, would love it if we decimated some more longs, because that would just give us more reason to move up higher. More shorts, less longs, more confusion in the markets, and confusion is good, right? It'll cause things to inevitably skyrocket whenever it is time. But looking at the 1 hour time frame, I mean, the RSI looks bullish enough. We do have bullish divergence after all. It's like double bullish divergence. The price action itself, I suppose, has exacted its revenge on that bullish divergence. Maybe not. Maybe we move up a little bit higher. With the way you're postured in the RSI, it looks like you've got this W shape, right? Right there. Boom. Getting above this peak. When we get above this peak in the RSI, I would expect that means we're getting to the overbought zone. Just because we get overbought does not mean that we see new all-time highs. That does not mean that we go all the way up here. No, right? That's not what that means. It could mean that, but you know, we got overbought here. This was relative to these strong movements that we saw here. If we move up a little bit, even if we just move up half this move, we should be at that same area in the RSI. Maybe what we see is a standard retracement up to the golden ratio, right? We take a high to low, and I wonder, should I take the high to low of that low, or should I take the overall low? Like, is that a fake out low? I'm going to take the overall low. It won't matter. It's not going to be that. Like, look, the golden ratio is at 121.5K there, 121.6K there. Okay, we're off by $100 on a $120,000 asset. Who cares? High to low from this low. The golden ratio is all the way up at 121 to 122. Are there liquidations to be had there on the short area? Yeah, right there. That takes out most of this wall, that first wall of shorts there. Probably pile on some longs, and then we get to moving up. Look at that, 120. We'd clear out all the shorts piled on really in the past week and in the past 24 hours. And these leverage positions are diminishing, you guys, as we're doing this. It would shake up the markets when Bitcoin has been very dicey lately. Move up here and then move down, clear out all the longs as well. I mean, man, with what we're doing right now, we've got a lack in, maybe not a lack. We still have a high amount of open interest, I would say, in leverage positions, but we're lacking compared to what we've seen really throughout this whole range. Come on now. Throughout this whole range that we've been at since the middle of July there. It's really diminished at this point in time. It would only diminish more with a little bit more volatility steering things up. So I really wouldn't be surprised right now if we moved up to about 121K, 122K. And that does not solidify this as the low. But again, my surprise that we hadn't gone lower might be indicative that we do move higher to some degree. And I would think we don't just go to the 382 and stop. Typically, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Typically, if you come down, you find resistance at the 382 and you go lower, that's because you've seen a strong move down. But we haven't seen a strong move now, right? This was a strong move, and then now this is weak. This is weak. We get up to the 382 in response to like this little dip here. I mean, overall, yes, it's a strong move, but now it's kind of weakened. I would think we could find turbulence here, continue up to the golden ratio, and then move down. So the call at the moment, just in the beginning of this video, it can change as it often does going into the end, would be about $121.5 thousand or just above there at 122K. Let's put some lines here. You know what? We'll even go up to the 786 because Bitcoin really does like its 786. We'll put lines up there. Anything and everything in this range here. It doesn't normally like its 786. Don't think, oh, it likes its 786. This guy on YouTube told me that. I like him. He's got a nice face. I mean, you know, that doesn't mean that it always respects its 786. It's just in this kind of romance phase with it right now for whatever reason. Since we've been in this range since the middle of July. Not always, but a good bit of the time. We've identified a few of them, right? But I wonder if we could find an example right now. Maybe. Let's see. That was the 886 and even the 100. So no, that doesn't count. Not a good example, but still. Point remains. This is the range that we're going with so far. Looking at these indicators, I like the RSI. I mean, I think it's set up to do good things, and that would probably take us up here if my eyes don't deceive me. Stochastics coming out of the overbought or oversold zone is good. We would expect to get into the overbought zone with that, so good. Bullish for now, like starting a new bullish move. And the MACD's crossing green. Yeah, bullish divergence too. You got bullish divergence on the oscillators and on the histogram, so yeah, good enough on all accounts there. 4-hour time frame now. No bullish divergence on the MACD, but you are, to be fair, at an area where you could bounce off the zero. It's okay if you come down a little bit below the zero, but if these oscillators bounce off the zero, that would be a very good look in itself. Stochastics don't look bullish yet. They've got the cross, but you need to get into the band before you're really too bullish. And then bouncing off the zero line here on the RSI, yeah, we'll take it. That doesn't look bad at all. What about this? What are you doing overall? What do we got here with the low to high? Ooh, you're just shy of that golden ratio, man. Oh, that puts a stopper in things, doesn't it? It's the weekend, y'all. It's the weekend. It is Saturday. Crazy things could happen. This This is weird. If nobody knows what I'm hung up on right now, it's this golden ratio. It's like we just missed it. How many people and their fancy algorithms have the golden ratio marked out though, right? It's very possible we could be front running it. Or perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. Perhaps what we do first is we come down to the golden ratio, we find support down here, and then we move up, right? Take out a little bit of these longs, make them sweat, pile on the shorts before we go up and clear them all out at 121 to 120K, 122K. Maybe. But that kind of disagrees with the 1 hour, right? And the 1 hour looks somewhat decent. It even, I wouldn't say it disagrees with the 4 hour. The stochastics are bearish. The MACD is set up to cross low, and that's bearish. And the RSI didn't bounce off the oversold zone, which maybe it comes down and then we bounce. I mean, how often do you find support right here? Not too often. Not really at all, right? A little bit here. That's kind of what I was thinking, something like that, right? It can happen. But typically you get oversold, typically. Or you find support at higher prices, higher levels, higher readings, technically. Curious to see what happens. I like the 15-minute time frame. I'm sticking with the upside, but just bear in mind, keep in mind, if we make a move down to about 116.5K to 115.6K, I mean, ultimately, whether we go up and then we go down there, or we just go down there and then we come up here, I mean, that's likely the destination area that we're going to, okay? So that's going to happen at some point. Maybe it happens today, which is great. Saturday, that'd be great. Get it over the weekend, get it done with over the weekend, and then have that Sunday pump that we've been accustomed to over the past, like, month now, month and a half. I don't like this. I don't like, I'm hung up on this. Let's throw other fibs up on here and see if that helps. See, I don't like that either. It's like we're just shy. Can't get hung up on that. It might be telling us something, but at the same time, we could move higher first and then come down. It could be this unfulfilled prophecy that we later fulfill. It doesn't have to happen right now. I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Let's take the overall. Let's see if this helps. Not really. No, actually. Nope. Okay. So, anyways, very much open to the idea of Bitcoin coming lower. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't move up to 121 to 122K first. Perhaps we do go down to 116.5 or lower first. Maybe. But the indicators, everything but the fibs, suggest otherwise, I would say. And not necessarily everything. The 4-hour indicators could allow for lower prices, slightly lower prices, nothing crazy. But based with, it kind of contests the 1-hour analysis that we just did, and even the 15-minute time frame. I'm sticking with the idea of going up, but I might be setting myself up for failure here, right? And that's okay. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, right? Right over the past 2 days, wrong today, right tomorrow, wrong the next day, wrong the next day, right the next day, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're making money. We're at a good area on the daily RSI where we could bounce right off the 50 here. Not bad. Rejecting the overbought zone, that's the standard, would be to bounce off the 50, if not around the 40 or something like that. Stochastics make me think we'd go lower day to day. MACD is at an area where we could bounce. So again, a little confliction here, or cross down and cause some lower prices. I think we will cross down. I think that we will get some lower prices inevitably. But time will tell. I am starting to think, just looking at those fibs, man. I'm very superstitious with the fibs. I'm so hung up on it. I am starting to think that we'll go down. Maybe I should stick with that call. I'm going back and forth. I'm sure a lot of you watching this right now are like, dude, come on. Just get over it. I can't. I think that the whole idea of bouncing here and going up to about 121 to 123K is off the table. I think we will first move down to the golden ratio, find support there. Even though we've had volume dying off, I think we continue to go down. Volume continues to die off. It's an even lesser move, right? Think about it like this. We moved, come on now. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. We moved down here. It was a pretty big move, pretty robust, good bit of volume. We moved down here, somewhat significant, not a lot of volume, but more than average volume nonetheless. And then here we moved down even lesser on the significant scale and even lesser on the volume scale potentially. Should mark the low. and then we move higher. Yeah? Sound good? Sounds good. Makes sense to me. And maybe that's what we do. I mean, after all, we still do have lower highs in the RSI. The bullish divergence might not save us. We could come down and form a higher low here in the RSI in the 1 hour time frame and still have this overall like W shape. You know, it doesn't necessarily throw that out the window. I'm gonna go for the downside, but man, if I'm wrong and we go up to 121 to 123K first, I'm going to be so upset because I could have been so perfect, but whatever. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Inevitably, Bitcoin, probably next week and going into the end of this month of August, will be at new all-time highs, will be excelling 240K and beyond. We will see prices inevitably at $180,000 sometime in the end of September, if not sometime in October. I got nothing else for you guys. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.